How can IT leaders deliver measurable AI outcomes without adding layers of complexity? And what does it really take to move beyond pilots and hype and into something that is delivering real value? Earlier this year, you may remember I spoke with Dennis Woodside, CEO of Freshworks, and we talked about why speed and ROI matters in AI adoption. And today, I want to continue that conversation, but from a CIO's perspective. And my guest today is a 30-year tech industry veteran and the Chief Information Officer at Freshworks. His name's Ashwin, and he's held transformative leadership roles at Medallia and KLA, and now brings that experience into an organisation that is redefining what enterprise software can not only look, but feel like. So he's going to unpack the real-world impact of AI in teams, whether that be automating repetitive tasks, or reshaping how teams work and collaborate. And he's pretty candid about these challenges too, the misconceptions around AI replacing jobs, the illusion of plug-and-play solutions, and the very real pressure that CIOs are facing to innovate, but with fewer resources. And we'll also talk about simplifying IT without sacrificing innovation, the shift in how CIOs are engaging with both tech and people, that need to upskill teams so that they feel confident, part of the journey, not threatened by these new tools. And as the industry continues to move beyond buzzwords, he's going to offer a pragmatic view of where AI fits, where it doesn't, and how you can find the right balance for you and your business. So, as AI matures and expectations inevitably keep on rising, how can tech and business leaders deliver outcomes that matter without losing sight of their teams and their people? These are just a few of the areas we're going to explore today, but enough from me. Let's get my guest onto the podcast now. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Absolutely, Neil. Great to be here with you. I'm Ashwin Ballal, and I'm the Chief Information Officer at Freshworks. I've been at Freshworks just over a year. And for those of you who may not know what Freshworks is all about, we're about making software that's surprisingly easy to use. We provide enterprise-grade ITSM and customer support software. But here's the kicker. We do it without all the clunky complexity you often see. Our mission really is to help businesses deliver exceptional experiences for our customers and their employees. Because let's face it, happy employees lead to happy customers, and that's just good business. On a personal level, Neil, I've been in the tech world for over 3 decades. And not to date me, and have had the unique opportunity of coming into IT, having a broad business and customer-facing roles, which really helps me blend business and technology. I've also seen a lot of these tech revolutions, the dot-com boom and bust cycles that we've all seen, the rise of the cloud, the mobile, social, and now this incredible AI revolution. As CIO of Freshworks, I'm responsible for all of the internal systems and the technology, our infrastructure, the corporate security. And additionally, I'm actually customer zero for Freshworks, which makes me one of the most important customers of Freshworks. And my team and I get to influence the product roadmap, get access to early features and capabilities, and provide constructive feedback. I also get to work with our go-to-market teams, which is the sales and marketing team, on positioning our product and how to sell. But more importantly, I get to offer thought leadership and basically learn from my peer CIOs who are either prospects or customers.
Well, you had me at creating software that is easier to use and eradicating clunky software. I suspect you and I have had experience of that in the past, and every single person will have at some point too. But earlier this year, I spoke with Dennis Woodside, CEO of Freshworks, about why speed and ROI matter in AI adoption. In fact, there was a huge focus on this year, and quite rightly so. But I'm curious, from your perspective as CIO here, how is that urgency playing out in real-world IT operations today? Because there's sometimes a bit of a gap between what we see in our news feeds and what's happening on the ground level there inside enterprises.
Absolutely, Neil. I think Dennis really hit the nail on the head. The urgency around AI adoption is absolutely palpable. You can feel it in every boardroom, every C-suite, every department. It's like everyone's got an invitation to an AI party, and is terrified of arriving late. But here's my take from the trenches of the IT operations. AI, as powerful as it is, it's just one piece of a much larger and often more foundational puzzle that CIOs like myself have to solve. The organizations we see truly succeeding are the ones that's getting that speed and ROI that Dennis talked about, aren't just blindly racing to implement the shiniest AI tool. They're the ones who have recognized the crucial truth that AI really amplifies what you already have. It's so important. I mean, your data infrastructure, if it is in a tangled mess, AI will just give you tangled insights faster. Your processes are convoluted. AI is just going to automate the convolution, right? And the example I give, it's like you giving somebody a megaphone to someone who already is shouting nonsense. It just gets louder, not clearer.
It's so refreshing to hear you say that, and AI enhances what you already have. And it's a lesson that many enterprises have learned the hard way. And maybe, again, our news feeds that tell us everything about what AI can do, what it might be able to do, what it might be able to do in the future. But with all the buzz around AI, very often it doesn't tell you what it cannot do. And there's a lot of things it cannot fix. So I'm curious, are there any common misconceptions or myths that you see about its practical use in IT teams? Because you must get to see and hear a lot of mistakes and mishaps there. But anything that springs to mind?
Oh, the misconceptions. With over 30 years in tech and business, I've seen a few hype cycles myself, right?
Yeah.
And I'd alluded to that a little earlier. AI is genuinely transformative, right? But the buzz can sometimes overrun the reality on the ground. I think there are two misconceptions that keep popping up like whack-a-mole. First, the persistent idea that AI will replace us IT professionals. This is absolutely a myth. You heard it whispered in the hallways is AI coming for my job? The reality, as I see it, honestly, is that AI is far more of an augmentation tool, a powerful assistant or an agent rather than a replacement. Think of it this way. AI excels in automating really repetitive, mundane tasks, stuff that frankly most IT pros don't find it thrilling anyways. This frees up our talented human capital to focus on complex problem solving, strategic initiatives, and kind of creative thinking that AI in the enterprise, at least for now, can't touch. For instance, AI can handle level 1 requests, the constant password reset problem that we all seem to have. And I mean, doing that is great. That just enables our staff to concentrate on designing better systems and tackling all really gnarly problems that AI can't solve today. I remember when people thought, spreadsheets would replace accountants. What happened? Accountants just got better tools and started solving more complex problems. So this is a similar evolution. The second big notion that AI implementation is plug and play, again, another myth. This one makes me really chuckle. It's like buying an F1 championship winning race car and expecting to win the Grand Prix without a pit crew, a race strategy, or even knowing how to drive in manual shift. The reality, honestly, is effective AI deployment requires high quality data, and I mean really good data, clear objectives. What problems are we actually trying to solve? What are the outcomes? And what is the significant cross-functional collaborations we have? Without these, AI systems can underperform, deliver bizarre results, or just plain out fail to deliver the expected benefits. It's not magic, it's engineering, and it really requires thoughtful integration.
And I think it's also worth highlighting that we have been here many times before from the arrival of computers in offices. Then we had the mobile, .com, cloud, and now AI. And you've led digital transformations across many organizations and big organizations too. So I'm curious, from being somebody that's witnessed all these different trends and seen the cycles that seem to repeat very often, what lessons have you learned about simplifying IT without sacrificing innovation?
Yeah, that's a thoughtful question, Neil, because simplifying and innovation sometimes feel like they're pulling in opposite directions. But from what I've learned, they're actually two sides of the same coin. I think the biggest lesson that I've personally learned, firstly, is empathy is non-negotiable. You absolutely must put yourself in the shoes of your employees and your customers. I always tell my team to personalize every experience because we want to deliver the kind of service I would like to receive. And this empathy has to be a two-way street. If we are truly one team, I need to understand your challenges. You need to understand mine. Not every experience is going to be perfect in this complex world that we deal with. But it's always good to be grounded in genuine care and effort. We should always be available to our customers and employees in moments that matter to them. I mean, that's the mantra I lead. Secondly, simplifying IT just doesn't mean stripping it back to some bare bones. It means removing friction and entropy. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of entropy in what we provide today. Think about it. Every business today at its core is really a service business. For too long, legacy service software has forced compromises, honestly turning IT department into cost centers rather than strategic assets they should be. And then again, that's where innovation comes in. Often true innovation springs from making things radically simpler for people. That's the heart of what we do at Freshworks. Our solutions are laser focused on the two most critical drivers of business success: outstanding employee experiences and outstanding customer experiences. We take a fresh approach, designing a people-first AI service software that is genuinely easy to use and accessible to everyone, not just the tech wizards. Ultimately, leading these transformations and driving innovation as a CIO has always been an adventure. But the CIO role is also fast evolving. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. You need to have boundless curiosity, a growth mindset, and the agility and the resilience to adapt, or you'll get left behind. AI in particular has really pushed us CIOs out of the back office and put us squarely in the front office. It's no longer just about keeping the lights on. It's about driving a new strategic vision for the entire company. And that's a memo all CIOs would be wise to keep at their desk.
And earlier in our conversation, you mentioned password resets. In another lifetime, many, many years ago, I've worked on one of those service desks where 70% of the incoming calls or support tickets were indeed password resets. So I remember at the time there was a lot of talk, if only we could take these people away, the valuable people from the service desk, and take them away from firefighting and passwords resets and non-value activities and put them towards maybe being a project resource on delivering projects, etc. So there's so many opportunities here, but despite that, there's also a lot of fear about AI replacing jobs. So how do you see AI augmenting IT teams instead of that fear that we see in our news feeds?
Yeah, I mean, this is what I hear a lot, honestly. Yeah. And as we speak about the AI revolution, you're either an optimistic person or a pessimist. The glass is either half full or half empty. And for those Charles Dickens fans, these are either the best of times or the worst of times. Nevertheless, there are great expectations. The fear is completely understandable, Neil. We are in a period of rapid change. And as I look at it, I put death, taxes, and now change as guaranteed. And historically, big technological shifts have always brought uncertainty about jobs. Quite to the contrary, major technological shifts have come to being as we have increased the GDP, for example, and have led to exponential job growth. People hear AI and sometimes picture a scene from a sci-fi movie where robots take over the world. But here's how I see it at Freshworks. How I see it playing out is AI isn't a substitute for human talent. It is really a force multiplier. We firmly believe AI should unlock the potential of people, not stifle it or replace it. It's really augmented intelligence. Think about it this way. AI should make work easier, productive, more meaningful, and not more complicated or redundant. It's not about replacing jobs, honestly. It's about clearing what I call the underbrush, the repetitive, the mundane, the time-consuming, busy work, like you just said, password reset, so people can focus on what we humans do best: critical thinking, problem solving, empathy, etc. Having said that, we still need to be incredible smart folks, especially in emerging areas. We really need these really smart people in emerging areas like AI. I mean, quality assurance has changed from what it used to be. And then ethical oversight is required, where nuanced and enhanced human judgment is absolutely critical as we train AI. You just can't let an algorithm just run wild without a shepherd. That's why I think upskilling, reskilling are so incredibly important right today. Our vision at Freshworks is simple. AI should help teams, not overwhelm them or replace them. We are focused on applying AI where it truly makes a difference, particularly in enhancing employee and customer experiences. And our customers aren't just asking, how do I bolt some AI on? They're asking on how do I integrate AI very intelligently into my teams and my workflows to make them better and more effective and efficient. That's precisely our focus, AI that works with people, not around them. It's like giving a talented engineer the next generation toolkit. It doesn't replace the engineer. It enhances their capabilities, allowing them to build better, smarter, faster, with higher precision than ever before.
Powerful points there, brought to life with not just one, but two Charles Dickens references. So, kudos to you there, my friend. But another area, of course, we need to talk about is upskilling. It's clearly critical for AI adoption. There've been many people, maybe on that service desk, that feel that they don't have the required skills to progress or to get hands-on and to use it. So what's worked best in your experience when helping teams build confidence in using these tools and ultimately ensuring that we don't leave people behind and we help them?
Yeah, this is so crucial, Neil. You can have the best of AI tools in the world, but if your team is as hesitant or doesn't have the confidence or is unsure how to use them, you won't get too far. Right? One of the effective things that we do at Freshworks is that we are customer zero for our own products, right? So we use Freshservice and Freshdesk, which is our ITSM and customer support software, extensively internally and provide candid feedback to our product and engineering team. This means our own IT and customer support teams are constantly applying AI in real world scenarios, testing our new ideas, streamlining our own operations, and in the process, we are naturally upskilling our employees. It's learning by doing in a very practical sense. The key part of building confidence is really transparent communication of the why. If we make it clear that our adoption of AI isn't really about cost cutting or reducing headcount, it's really about reinvesting those costs, which are really investments in our people. We use AI to free up our talented individuals from mundane tasks and redeploy them towards innovation and strategic growth initiatives and tackling the more complex and the more engaging problems. This approach has not only worked well for the business, but it's even better for employee engagement, retention, and their confidence. I mean, I remember when we first rolled out in 2016 an AI-powered ticket resolution systems in my last job. Initially, there was so much skepticism within my own team. Is this actually really going to work? Is it going to be accurate? Is it going to make my job harder? Will it remove my job? So we ran a pilot. We showed them how accurately this AI engine handled this large volume of routine tickets, freeing them up to handle the more tricky, interesting cases that required deep expertise. Pretty soon, they were the ones that were coming up with the ideas on how to expand the use cases. They saw it as an agent, not a threat. It's about creating a safe space to experiment, learn, and see the tangible benefits firsthand. You can't just mandate confidence. You have to cultivate it.
Such a great story there, a great example of how to get things off the ground and moving. And there'll be many business leaders inside enterprises of all sizes that find themselves stuck in an AI pilot phase rather than getting anything over the line and getting things delivered. And it's very often analysis paralysis can reappear and be a big part of that problem. So how should IT leaders think about balancing IT experimentation while also delivering tangible business outcomes?
The classic balancing act. I mean, It's really about outcomes with AI, especially with these large language models. The barrier to entry for basic experimentation is lower than ever. Everyone has access to the same kind of tools and similar foundation models. So what is the real differentiator? The path to tangible business outcome isn't just experimentation for its own sake, but it's applying AI in a very smart, targeted ways that drive real measurable results that change business outcomes. So, for example, at Freshworks, we are heavily focused on customizing and fine-tuning our AI models with vertical-specific data. And our customers can use their own data so that they can get innovative kind of results from their own data. But genuinely useful, reliable tools solve actual problems and drive actual business outcomes. It's all about personalized AI embedded into an intuitive platform, making it practical and effective for real world use. At the same time, one of the biggest challenges and responsibilities for IT leaders is setting the right guardrails. This means ensuring data quality is impeccable, privacy is kind of rigorously protected, and ethical considerations are front and center. Too often, it's like AI is a solution desperately searching for a solution. It's like I have a hammer and everything looks like a nail. We see the rush to use it everywhere, but it's not appropriate or ready for every use case, at least not yet. So consider AI experimentation as research in a pharma lab. Not every experiment immediately leads to a market-ready drug. Successful companies carefully select and refine these innovations, ensuring effectively how we address the specific needs and deliver measurable benefits. Effective guardrails, such as rigorous data governance, privacy controls, and clear ethical standards are vital to ensure that the AI benefits are maximized and the risks that we see are minimized.
And I'm curious, as we come out of the AI hype cycle and we start to see the technology mature and understand the possibilities and also the limitations, what do you see as the biggest opportunities for IT and business teams to collaborate more effectively through AI in the next 12 months? And this pace of change at the moment can be difficult to keep up, but where do you see it going from here? What excites you?
This is really where I get really excited, Neil. There has not been a better time to be a CIO or an IT professional, honestly. There is a huge opportunity to impact both the top line and the bottom line of an income statement and to radically transform business. That's an opportunity IT has never had. So I believe the biggest opportunity in the next 12 months and beyond is really using AI to fundamentally unify how IT and business teams work, collaborate together toward shared goals. For too long, there's been a bit of us versus them, or a service provider versus an internal customer dynamic, and AI really can be a powerful bridge. AI is absolutely centered to our growth strategy at Freshworks, and it represents a huge opportunity for both IT and customer support teams, and indeed all business function. Every single customer I speak to is eager to use AI to transform their operations. We're already seeing some early adopters of our Freddy AI agents offloading up to 70% of repetitive tasks. Think about it, Neil, 70%. That unlocks an incredible amount of human potential for deeper work, strategic thinking, faster and more meaningful outcomes. More specifically, the opportunity isn't just about some massive overnight AI-driven transformation. It's often about improving the basics, the fundamentals, but in a deeply collaborative way. The real value will come from joint experimentation on specific shared workflow pain points where IT and, say, sales or HR can sit down together, identify a bottleneck, co-create an AI-powered solution. Then, crucially, we can measure the actual results. It's less about IT building something for the business and more about IT and the business building something with AI together. That's much more powerful and sustainable model for collaboration.
This isn't your first rodeo, as we said earlier in the podcast. You've been there since the arrival of computing in the offices, the .com era, the arrival of the internet, mobile apps for everything, cloud, now AI. You've led digital transformation initiatives across major organizations. I'm going to ask you to look back at those rich pickings now. What is the funniest or most interesting story that has happened in your career during your time in those IT trenches? There must be a few war stories, maybe some you can share, some you can't, but is there anything you can?
Oh, that's a really good one to kind of come to end on. Let me think. Funniest or most interesting. Okay, here's one that still makes me chuckle and also highlights how far we've come. You know, it's funny where life takes you. My original dream was to play professional field hockey. The universe, however, had other plans as my ambition dramatically outpaced my actual talent. So I traded my hockey stick for a lab coat and became a scientist, eventually getting a PhD in material science. But the story has another even sharper twist. I became CIO not having spent a single day of my life in an IT department before taking the job. Today, I'm a 3-time CIO. So the punchline in this is a failed hockey player becomes a scientist, can pivot and become a 3-time CIO. My message is very simple. Jocks can still become scientists. And if I can do it, starting from so far outside the traditional path, it should be an inspiration to others. Your career isn't a straight line. It's about your ability to be curious, have a growth mindset, and adapt when unexpected opportunities arise. Just take it.
Oh, man, what a great story. There's almost a Netflix series waiting to happen now. There's so much more detail that I could go in there and find out more information, but we might need another podcast for that. So for everyone listening, wanting to find out more information about Freshworks, maybe even talk to you about the missing parts of that story, what's the best starting point for everything?
Yeah, I know. I mean, it so happens coincidentally, this podcast happens to go live the same day our Refresh Europe event is happening in London. We are making some really exciting announcements there, particularly around our Freddy Agentic AI platform. We'll be rolling out new agentic capabilities that will allow our Freddy AI to just not suggest solutions that we see, but to actually take actions, resolve service kind of requests autonomously across apps and businesses that we already use. Think about processing an insurance claim, updating payroll record, or making a new shipment. We're also using kind of real-time insights and making it much simpler for our support teams to deploy these AI agents and quantify the value they really create. And of course, we're launching a whole slew of resources to ensure that our customers are truly successful in using the next generation of agentic AI tools. It's all brand new. We're incredibly excited to help our customers harness the power. So for anyone listening, the best place to find out more about all this is go to freshworks.com. You'll find all the details, and you can always connect to me on LinkedIn.
Oh, I'm going to be checking that out. Are any of the keynotes being streamed, do you know? Or
yes, I mean, so we have a virtually kind of event too that will kind of stream that event.
Fantastic. Well, I'll get all the information there. It'll be interesting to hear more information on everything that comes out. Anybody attending, I'd love to hear from you, so please contact me too. And so I'll add links to everything. And we covered a lot today, from the reality of AI in IT teams, what's working, what's not, what's pure hype, why simplifying IT is now a strategic imperative, and how AI is augmenting, not replacing teams. A very important message to be sending out right now. And also that growing pressure on CIOs to deliver measurable value with leaner teams and tighter budgets. I'd love to get you back on later in the year, see how things are progressing. But more than anything, thank you for sharing your story today.
Thank you for having me, Neil. It was a pleasure.
So how do you lead transformation when AI is evolving faster than most companies can adapt? I think my conversation with Ashwin today, he explored how Freshworks is cutting through the noise and focusing on what really works. It was his insights that brought clarity to an often overloaded conversation, reminding us that AI is a force multiplier. It's not a magic fix, but also showing practical examples of how automation can free up people for work that matters, and why CIOs must lead with empathy, clarity, and a more collaborative mindset. I think we also touched on a huge key takeaway for every IT leader listening today, and that is your data, your systems, your workflows. They all shape what AI can do. But if the foundations aren't solid, don't expect the results to be. And the difference lies in how you prepare, how you guide adoption, and focus on outcomes rather than experiments. So if you're curious to see how Freshworks is bringing these ideas to life, tune into the announcements at the Refresh Europe event, and you'll also learn more about their next-gen AI agents, how they're unlocking new capabilities through agentic AI. Let me know your thoughts on that, and over to you and your business. What small change could you make today to simplify, optimize, and empower your team with a technology that works with them? Not against them, not replacing them, works with them. Let me know your thoughts. techblogwriter@outlook.com, at LinkedIn, X, Instagram, TikTok, just at Neil CUs, wherever you hang out. Send me a quick message, let me know. But that's it for today. So thank you for listening as always, and I'll speak with you all again soon. Bye for now.